I've recorded it. Are we all back? Okay, people, is there anyone who has a problem with that? Okay, now we are back. Dus nou terug asseblief. Ek besig om te record weer. So, is there anyone who still has a problem with the ordinary share capital note? Want jy gaan dit heel moontlik kry in, if not in June, in September, November. You most probably going to get this note. Remember the notes that they normally ask, wat hulle gewoonlik vra, is ordinary share capital because that's completely new. Behoue inkomste, want dis heeltemal nie, retained income. Then they tend to ask you to do trade and other receivables, handel en ander ontvangbares, want jy kan iets met voorraad daar doen. I can't ask you that yet, because we haven't done inventory valuation yet. Ek kon dit nie nou al vra nie, want ons het nog nie voorraad waardasies gedoen nie. We're going to do inventory valuation next term. And then they ask trade and other payables, handel en ander betaalbares, because there they can put all those adjustments regarding wages and salaries and all that goed kan daarin kom. Is julle alright? And sometimes they ask you to complete the fixed asset note. Hoekom vra al die vaste bate nota? Because there's a whole chapter in the grade 12 textbook on fixed assets. 'n hele hoofstuk oor vaste bates. So dit is die notas wat hulle vra. They're not going to ask you to do inventories. Jy gaan nie voorrade doen nie. You won't do interest income or interest expense. Jy gaan nie rente inkomste en rente uitgawe doen nie. They won't ask you to do cash and cash equivalents. Hulle gaan ook nie vir jou dit vra nie. But they can ask you fixed assets, trade and other receivables, vaste bates, handel en ander ontvangbares. Then they tend to ask share capital, gewone aandelekapitaal, retained income, behoue inkomste, and trade and other payables, handel en ander betaalbares. Right, ons is nou klaar met die nota. Next thing, statement of financial position, en dan gee hulle vir jou 'n bietjie inligting. This is really what I do. Ek doen dit regtig waar so. Remember, it helps to read from the start. Dit help vir my om te lees van die begin af. Almal van jy moet alles lees wat daar staan. So I do this. Fixed asset carrying value. I know this is a non-current asset. Ek weet dit is 'n nie bedryfsbate. And I can't write it. What I can do at this stage, as ek wil, kan ek op die antwoord bladsy begin skryf, maar jy gaan sien it's already on the answer sheet. Can you see that? Dis klaar daar. If it wasn't there, dan sal ek hier geskryf het, then I would have written that amount there. Because I do not know if there is an adjustment for that yet. Verstaan julle dit? Ek sou daar gaan skryf het, wat ek weet nie of daar 'n aansuiwering is nie. It's silly to read and not write what you've just read. Dat jy gaan tyd verloor. Is julle by daarmee? So, if that's what I would have done. You sit with your answer sheet next to you. No sien ek, het staan klaar daar. I'm not going to do anything. If it wasn't there, I would have written that amount there. Is julle by daarmee? Are you fine? For financial assets, ek gaan net aan met die lysie. I'm just going on with the list. Jy lees jou vraestel. This is the question paper. Yes. This is the answer sheet. You read the two together. Is julle by daarmee? Die volgende stukkie inligting was oor jou finansiële bate, dink ek. Had to do with the financial asset. That's a non-current asset. Dis 'n nie bedryfsbate. So ek skryf dit vir my eie, just for myself. Actually, I don't write it anymore because I know this, but if I were you, I would write it. Is julle alright daarmee? Then, inventory information C. Jy kan niks met daai inligting doen nie. So ek kan nie vir jou so 'n vraag gee op hierdie oomblik nie. So, can you please, I've done this already, maar ek het dit nie gedoen toe ek het gefoto's te aflaat rol het nie. Can you please write in here where you have inventories voorrade, kan jy vir daai bedrag ins. Can you please write that in? Because I cannot let you do anything with that adjustment that they supply. Jy kan dit nog nie doen nie. We haven't done inventory valuation. Voorraadwaardasie is eintlik 'n topic for paper 2, but they ask always in this statement something to do with inventory valuation. So, maar jy kan dit nog nie doen nie, so ek gaan nie eens na die aansuiwering kan kyk nou nie. Next time you will see how easy this is. Maar dis nou nie vir hierdie kwartaal gewerk nie. Are we fine? Right, can you please write in, just write the amount in, because it's centers, I'm not going to show you how to do the calculation now. Right, volgende stukkie inligting wat ek het, the next part of information that they have, was die volgende, excuse toch? This, they tell you this is the balancing figure. Ek weet dit is a current asset, ek weet dit is 'n bedryfsbate. I know that bank and cash flow are also current assets, so dis regtig wat ek doen. I go to my answer sheet, ek skryf op my antwoord bladsy. This is balancing, so dis wat ek doen. I write here by, ek skryf dus lank 'n vraagteken, because I don't know what it is. Is julle by daarmee? Cash and cash equivalents kan ek gaan uitwerk. How can I calculate this? Want dit mos vir my, ek weet gaan my vraestel hier voor my kry. They gave me the following information. They told me that bank is favorable 864, 800, en ek moet weet dat wisselgeld is deel van kontant en kontant ekwivalente. I write it there, as you read, right. Is julle by daarmee? Are we fine with that? I'm not adding anything yet, want ek het nog nie die aansuiwerings gelees nie. Are you okay with this? Are we fine? Is ek reg bedrag, meneer? As jy okay, are we fine? Right, dan gaan ek aan met lees. Then they tell me the next bit of information says SARS income tax. En hulle sê vir my dis die voorlopige belasting. So now I don't know if that's going to be an current asset if I've paid too much. Is dit 'n bedryfsbate? Dis as ek te veel betaal het, or is it a current liability if I've paid too little? So ek weet nie wat dit is nie. I can't write anything yet. Ek weet nog nie wat dit is nie. All I know, that is what we've paid so far. I don't know how much I was supposed to pay. Understand that, Susana? Cleo, are you all fine? Right? Ordinary share capital, was 'n vraagteken, maar I know that it's shareholders equity. We just had to do this. I know it's 11,664. So ek kan dit mos gaan inskryf nou. We've done it from the note. Onthou, as jou bedrag hier verkeerd is it 100% fine. You won't get a mark there. Maar as jy jou verkeerde bedrag hier gaan inskryf, if you write your wrong amount here, dan moet ek vir jou met jou verkeerde bedrag die punte gee. Because you're not allowed to be penalized twice for the same mistake. Dis baie ene nou. Excuse. So, onthou die ene was missing geweest net te maak. Kan jy onthou? Are we fine? Are you okay with this? So whatever it is in your note, just write in there. En wat is nou so lekker? If this amount is wrong, as daai bedrag van jou verkeerd is, it's okay, I must give you your marks. En nou tel jy op, you add and you write your answer there. Even if it's wrong, I must give you the mark. Want jy mag nie 2 keer gepenaliseer word vir dieselfde fout. En when are you still awake? Are you sure? Right, as ons optel, 1, 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6, 0. So kyk gou mooi. This will be 1 mark, 2 marks, accepted. I need to check your calculation. Is julle by daarmee? Are we fine? Anybody a problem? Is julle okay? But if you don't know the format of this statement, dan is jy in jou glory verkeerd, want jy weet nie waarom wat te skryf nie. You must know the format. Some things in accounting is study work. The format of statements is study work. As jy dit al jare doen, soos ek en meneer, dan gaan jy nie meer leer nie, maar jy moet nou nog 'n bietjie leer. Actually, the only thing that you should learn in this statement is this little bit here. Want al die ander goed het jy laas jaar gedoen, and the year before that. Jy behoort net daai stukkie te leer. Right, let's go to the next bit of information. Ek gaan gou op boontoe weer, hier staan te vinnig boontoe. Retains income, I know that shareholders equity, dis aandeelhouers belang, maar is klaar getik op die vraestel. When you see your answer sheet, it's there. Loan Tambo Bank, it will definitely be non-current liability and part will be current liability. Dit is mos so, né? Lening gaan een deel nie bedryfslas wees en 'n ander gedeelte bedryfslas. But we don't know anything yet. We just have question marks. So wat doen ek? I know that it's the loan of Tambo Bank, so ek gaan nie inskryf. Loan Tambo Bank, hierso skryf ek in. And the non-current liabilities, it's loan Tambo Bank. I don't know the amount. Ek weet it can be a short-term part. Ek weet daar gaan 'n korttermyn gedeelte ook wees, short-term part of loan, korttermyn deel van die lening. Ek weet glad nie wat dit is nie, but I know it's going to be a short-term part. It's altyd so. Loan is always split persona in the non-current part and the short-term part. En dan gaan altyd 'n storieetjie daaromtrent wees. Always, because that was done in grade 10 already. 20% of the 150 marks must cover content that was done before grade 12. 20% van hierdie inhoud moet werk is wat jy gedoen het voor graad 12. That is why in the statement of comprehensive income, you see current income or fee income, because current income was grade 8 work. Kan jy onthou, lopende inkomste, fooi inkomste, is graad 8 werk. It's tested in the grade 12 papers, because unfortunately accounting must be tested on everything you've done from grade 8 to grade 12. Dis is soos bedryfstudie wat jy doen hierdie jaar hierdie bietjie werk, as kyk jy hierdie jaar oor die bietjie werkie. History, this year's work, you only write on this year's work. Wie van julle neem geskiedenis? Is there any content in this year that you had to do last year? Nothing. It's like maths. You had to study, you had to learn in grade 8, 1x plus one another x gives you 2x. In graad 12 het dit nie ver geraak, it's still x plus x is 2x. Dis rekeningkunde, it's like physical science. It's you build on the previous year's work, previous year's knowledge. Right, is julle alright met daai gedeeltetjie? Are we fine? Then the next little bit of information, ek lees nog net, I haven't done anything else, I'm just reading. Hier is daar, as ek net daarby kan uitkom. Trade and other payables, ek weet dit is 'n bedryfslas, I know it's a current liability. You will see it's already on your answer sheet. Is julle alright so ver? Nou kan ons gaan kyk. We are done with the share capital and dividends. Let's see if you have a dividend. A final dividend of 22 cents per share was declared. Dis die bedrag wat verskuldig is aan die aandeelhouers. What you declare is what you owe the shareholders. And it's part of trade and other payables. Dis mos deel van handel en ander betaalbares, né? They gave you the amount. Moet jy worry om dit te gaan uitwerk nou? Do you need to do this? No, they gave you trade and other payables. Are you fine with this? Is julle alright? Are we fine? Right. Voordat het ek gesê gaan is hier na kykie. We're not going to look at inventories. Nou gaan ons by die lening, the loan. It's always the same format. They give you the balance at the start of the year. This is the loan statement that the bank sends you. Dis die leningsstaat wat die bank jou gestuur het. The bank statement starts with how much you owe them at the start of this year. Dan sê die bank vir jou how much you've paid. What was the interest for this year? Let's see if you're the rente. Then they tell you how much you paid in total. Interest plus the payment on the loan. Verstaan julle dit? Right? They don't give you the balance at the end of the year. You must be able to calculate the balance at the end of the year in this information. This is the balance at the beginning of the year. This die rente. That's your total payment including the interest. Dit sluit die rente in. What do you want to know? You want to know how much you paid on the loan. Want jy wil weet hoeveel skuld jy vir die lening aan die einde van die jaar. You don't want to know how much you owe with interest because in your books, in our books, we have loan and interest on loan as two separate accounts. Onthou in ons boeke het ons mos lening en rente op lening as aparte rekeninge. The bank has it as one account. So we must split the loan and the interest on the loan. So what do we need to do? We need to figure out how much of this is paid on the loan. Hoeveel van dit is op die lening betaal? How do I do that? This was the total payment, the 307,200, which included the interest wat die rente ingesluit het. So wat het jy op die lening betaal? The 176,400. Verstaan julle dit? Do you understand that? Nou moet jy sê of jy verstaan of nie verstaan nie, because I really cannot smell this. Remember, if they give you the loan statement from them, it means it's in the bank's books. The bank does not keep, what do we owe the bank? We owe the loan and the interest. Verstaan julle dit? Do you understand that? Is julle by? So every year, they start the year, kom ek sê, ek het by Absa geleen, I owe them 100 rand at the start of the year. So, start of the year, my balance is 100 rand. Then they add onto that account, by daai 100 rand sit hulle my rente by, let's make the interest 20 rand. So according to them, I owe them 120 rand. That's in one account. Nou betaal ek mos elke maand, ek betaal, kom ons sê nou maar 12 rand 'n maand, 12 times 12 gives me, is te veel. Kom ons, ek betaal 8 rand 'n maand, 12 times 8 gives me 96 rand, so I owe them 120, I paid 96, do you understand that, people? Which includes the interest. Kom ons sê die rente wat ek betaal het was die 20 rand, what did I pay on the loan? The 76, do you understand this? Dis hoe dit werk in die bank se boeke. We are not the bank, we are our company. In our books, we have a loan account and an interest on loan account separate. Verstaan julle dit? In the loan account, we started like the bank with 1.8 whatever balance at the start of the year. Elke keer as ons betaal, dan betaal ons mos twee dinge. We pay interest and we pay loan. Ons betaal mos rente en ons betaal die lening. The loan we pay, we subtract from loan. Die rente wat ons betaal, so dis mos in die rente op lening rekening. Is dit reg? The bank doesn't do that. So we need to figure out if our balance at the end in the loan account and their balance without the interest, if that agrees. Is julle by, verstaan julle dit? En al jy dit kan doen is, this is the balance at the start. They added the interest. Hulle trek die betaling af. Wat bly oor? Hoeveel ons hulle skuld aan die einde van die jaar. Do you understand that? So if you do this, doen jouself die gunsie. Take that plus minus. Doen gou dit. That's the balance at the start. Ons doen gou eers hierdie sommetjie. Ek wil dit sommer, waar kan ek dit doen? Skryf 'n bietjie op. Kan ek iets opskryf hierso? Hierdie bietjie op. See if I can, oh, can't do that. Ek het maar hier onder iewers doen. Ek will do this here. I started 1.840. Dis waarmee ons begin het. 1840.3 plus add the interest 130.800 minus the full payment, 307,200. Ek kan nie hier skryf nie. Waar kan ek skryf? Kom ons kyk vir hierso. I'm going to do it here. Kom ons doen hierso. We started according, we are now the bank, in die bank se boeke. They said, 'n bladsy hier kry. Beginning of this year, we owed them according to their books. Onthou ons wil hulle boeke en ons boeke dieselfde hê. We owed them 1840123 plus they added the interest, hulle tel die rente by, minus wat ons betaal het. So at the end of the year, 1840123 plus die 130,800 minus die 307,200. They say at the end of this year, we owe 3612. Ons skuld hulle soveel. Right. Dis wat hulle sê. Kom ons kyk, dit's their books, hulle boeke. Kom ons kyk wat in ons boeke aan die gang is. In our books, we said at the start of this year, we owe them 1.840. Right? Ons rente, the interest, was gewees vir die jaar 130,800. My hart sal gaan staan, ek is al oud, julle kom ons nie dit doen nie. Right, we paid in total 307,200 including interest. Dis wat ons nou weet, né? Wat wil ons weet? Hoeveel van daai 307,000, hoeveel is rente en hoeveel is payment on loan? Dis wat ons wil meet. That's because that is what it consists out of. The interest and the payment on the loan. Stem julle saam daarmee? Do you understand that? Okay. So, we don't know what the interest is, but we do know what the payment is. Ons weet wat die payment op die ons weet wat die rente is. So, I take the 307,200 equals the interest was 130,800 plus, ons weet nie wat nie. Hoe kry ek uit vraagteken? How do I get the question mark? 307,200 minus the 13800. Gee vir my, ek het dit al gedoen net, maar ek het maar weer doen. $176,400. Is julle reg? Are we fine? So in our books, if we take the 1.8 million minus the 176,400, dan moet ons nou kry wat hulle sê, ons skuld, né? Minus 1840123, 16636. Kan jy sien ons boeke en hulle boeke is dieselfde? Can you see that? Can you? That's all we are doing. We take the information they supply and we divide it into what interest is and what is the payment on the loan. Is al wat ons moet doen. Is julle by daarmee? Verstaan julle dit? Okay. So what do I now know about this loan? Kan ek verstaan almal hierdie sommetjie? Dis nou my boeke hierdie. As hulle boeke? Hierdie is ons boeke. Of met 'n ander kleur. Dis our books. You understand this, Sona? Okay. Now, kom ons kyk gou nou. What do we know if we go to this balance statement? We know the loan started with 1840. Ek moet my onder gaan skryf want hy maak snaakse goedjies. Wat het ons hierdie jaar op die lening betaal? On the loan we paid 176,400. Is dit reg? Is dit reg? Are we fine? Is dit reg julle? Okay, so what is, and they tell us that next year we're going to do the same. We're going to pay the 176,400 again next year. Is julle by daarmee? So this 176,400, wat ek nou geskryf, as ek net daar kan uitkom. This is for this year. Hierdie jaar. Maar ons moet vir volgende jaar weer dit betaal and minus another 176,400. Verstaan julle dit? I have to minus this twice. Hoekom moet ek dit? Ek kan nie dit doen nie. Ek wil nie dit doen nie. Hier so baie kolommetjies, ek maar net hier so probeer skryf. Dis baie 170,000 kolommetjies wat hulle hier het. Ek gaan maar daar skryf. Of dit sal werk. Ja. So, This is the balance at the start of this year. Wat betaal ons hierdie jaar? The 176,400. So at the end of this year, we're going to pay another 176,400 next year, this volgende jaar. And next year must go to short-term part of the loan. Verstaan julle almal dit? Do all of you understand this? Clear, do you understand this? Is there anyone who does not understand? Are you fine? Yes. This is the balance at the beginning of this year. This is at start of year. What happened this year? We paid the loan. Okay? How much did we pay this year? The 176,400. So that is the non-current liability at the end of this year. What is going to happen next year? We're going to pay another 1.7. So the part we pay next year must go to short-term part of the loan. Got that? Are you fine? Sometimes they make this more difficult. They tell you that next year you're going to make double the payment that you made this year. Then you have to do minus twice that. Verstaan julle dit mense? So this amount here is always what it was at the start of this year in our books, minus what we paid this year, minus what we're going to pay next year. Is julle by daarmee? Verstaan julle almal dit? So do you understand this? This is how much money we owe this bank at the start of this year. Obviously, we must pay this year. Okay? This is what we pay during the year. That. The 176,400. You know where I got that from? So at the, kom ek maak so hierso. At the end of this year, we owe, kom ons maak gou dit. Equals. Ons doen gou eers daai sommetjie. The 18400, 1840123 minus 176. So at the end of this year, we owe 1663600. That's true, no? End of this year. Now, if we're not going to pay anything next year, then that will be our loan. Remember, the part we're paying next year is no longer a non-current liability. It changes into a current liability. How much are we going to pay next year? Again, one, because they told us in the information, they tell us. I go back to the information. The capital portion for the repayment of the loan in the next financial year remains the same as the current financial year. Common English, pay 10 Rand this year, we'll pay 10 Rand next year. Are you okay? So how much of that non-current liability? That is for next year. I'm going to take the 1,663. So what is my current liability? That minus another payment, because that payment goes there. Can you see that? You understand this? You still owe in total, you still owe the minus 176,400. So this equals 1,487,200. If you take this, that amount, and you add this, you still get the 1,663,600. You just split your non-current into non-current and current. Is julle almal by hier? Verstaan julle almal dit? Jy gaan dit definitief kry. You are getting the statement in June. Jy gaan dit definitief kry. You are going to get the story about the loan. Is julle almal by? You'll get it in September and November. The past 5 years, they asked statement of financial position. Vir die afgelope 5 jaar is dit gevra. That's going to be different for you. Is julle all right hiermee? Verstaan julle almal dit? Are we fine? Okay, right. Ek dink dis nou omtrent wat ek moes lees. Is dit reg? Nou gaan kyk. Right. Al wat nou oorbly, now I need to do whatever is almost now klaar. The amount owed to SARS on 31st August is a balancing figure. Hulle sê vir jou die bedrag verskuldig aan Sahid. The fact that you owe to SARS, what does that actually mean? It means that SARS income tax is going to be a liability. Let's see if jy skuld, dan moet jy mos weet dat Sahid inkomstebelasting is 'n Sahid inkomstebelasting gaan vir jou 'n las wees. SARS income tax. If they tell you we owe, then it's a liability. And it's going to be part of your short-term liabilities. Want ek kan vir jou sê, jy kan maak wat jy wil. SARS wants its money. Hulle vat sommer hulle my geld omdat my bank het gevat laas jaar. 31,000 something, but ek het dit nie betaal nie. Then one morning, well, really, the day the school closed last year, March holiday, I got this SMS. Mine is 31,000 something SARS. Just took their money. I didn't give them permission. They fell apart at net. Okay? If you don't pay it, they just take it. Remember, SARS has access to all your bank accounts. Jy kan maar dink, jy kan 40 bankrekeninge hê. Remember, when you open a bank account, you open it with your ID. SARS has your ID. SARS has really, they check everything. They can see how much interest you earn on your money. So you can't even lie about that. Wanneer is dit waar? Sy het vat jou geld, hulle het regtig geld gevat, net so toe die skoolvakansie begin, vat hulle 31,000 rand. Ek is nou nog 'n bietjie geskok daaroor, but I learned the lesson, pay SARS, don't keep them waiting. Hulle hou nie daarvan nie, hulle vat hulle geld. They gave me time to pay until 31st of January. I didn't pay them. Didn't pay in February. Hulle het so my maand het gevat. So don't play with SARS. Hulle vat hulle geld. Hulle worry niks oor jou nie. Jy kan sonder geld sit. They warned you. They said pay. This is the due date. This is the final due date. This is the extra interest. This is the penalty you're going to pay. They take all your money. Regtig wat my gebeur. I'm still in shock about that. Maar ek betaal nou vir SARS. Ek sukkel nie om te betaal nou nie. Are we okay with this, people? Are we fine? Okay, wat bly nou oor? Ons moet nou dood eenvoudig gaan and we now have to do what we can do about this. Dan kom ons kyk nog wat kan ons doen. Ons het nou alles gedoen, 'n maand oud is SARS, is the balancing figure. Ons het die lening gekry. Right, what can we do? Can we now do ons kan nou hier gaan. Trade and other receivables kan ons nie uitgewerk het nie. Cash and cash equivalents, we can do this. Is dit reg? Ons kom ons kontant en kontant ekwivalente uitwerk. 867. Okay, ek gaan nou stil bly. And you do now what you, wie daar skryf nie. You complete this now, please. Probeer jy dit nou klaar maak. 8, 6, 7, 800. See what you can do and what you can't do. Kyk wat jy kan doen en wat jy nie kan doen. Start. Watter een van die, ek weet hier so vir my 'n lyntjie, as ek net 'n lyntjie kan insit, sal ek so bly wees. Ek my lyntjie insit, right, ek kan hier so. Watter deel van hierdie staat kan jy voltooi? Which part can you complete? Can you complete the assets part or can you complete the equity and liabilities? Kan jy bates klaarmaak? Nee, want daar's 'n bedrag. You can't do that. Hierdie een kan jy kry, jy kan optel, but you can't do that. Why can't you get that? Want jy het nie dit nie. Stem julle saam? If you can't do that one, then obviously you can't get this either. Verstaan jy dit? Right. What do I have here? Ek moet that I have, can I get this one? Kan ek nie bedryfslaste kry? Ja, dit staan eintlik al klaar, dan jy moet net gaan oortik. Is julle by? 1,487,200. If I have shareholders equity, I have non-current liabilities and I have current liabilities. Kan ek dan hierdie totaal kry? Can I get total equity and liabilities? Kan ek dit kry julle? Right? Total equity. Okay, ek het nou genoeg leidrade gegee. Jy moet nou probeer klaarmaak. Ek kan nou maar hier so skryf. Ek gaan dit in Afrikaans so kan skryf totale. Ek kan nie, dis nie, ek wil nie, julle weet mos nou werk. Right, ek gaan nou stil bly, jy doen joune. See if you can do this. Ek gaan my skerm afsit, dan gaan ek myne ook klaarmaak gaga. As ek dit kan afkry, want ek moet hom smeek om aan en af te gaan. Is jullie klaar? Are we done? Wie is nog bezig? You still busy? Is jullie alright? Kan het aangaan? Wie is nog bezig? Okay, Robin, wie is nog bezig? Kira, you still busy? It's fine. Maak jy dit klaar vir julle weer my antwoorde afskryf want dit beteken vir jou niks. What? But what is your total assets? Do you have non-current?
Yes.
You have total assets. But you have total assets. What is equal to total assets? owner's equity plus liabilities. Do you have owner's equity plus, but then why don't you have total assets?
Oh.
Got it?
I'm okay.
Assets equals equity plus liabilities. Do you have equity and liabilities at the bottom? So can you have total assets then? Got it, Susanna? Right. We nearly done?
No.
You still busy? We're still busy, people? What are you still looking for, Cleo?
And I just need to add combine.
Do your calculations. It's like a puzzle. Can you see? If you have one, you can do the other one. Yes. And the nice thing about this puzzle, if you made a mistake somewhere, I have to work with all your minds. Just don't leave it out. Okay. If I said better now. Are you still busy? Did Mr. Adams teach any one of you? You ask him when you see him again, how was he zip lining during the holidays? Right, can I carry on? Right. Okay, kom op dat we my skerm aan. Right, people, let's see how that is it easier now. Great, well, is it makkelijker nou? Waar is Titan? Is dit makkelijker, Titan? Okay, kom ons kyk gou nou. Wat kan ons mee werk? What is the first thing? Remember, you have a lot. You have a lot of missing amounts, but somewhere you need to find something that you can use to find the next missing, to find the next missing. So ek het gesien, we saw that there was nothing that we could do with the asset part. So obviously our solution should be ons begin by die eienaars, the shareholders, the equity and the liabilities. Daar het ek genoeg gehad to actually calculate the total equity and liabilities. Hoe kry ek dit? It is shareholders equity plus your non-current liability plus your current liabilities. Kyk gou mooi. They gave me this. Hulle het my dit gegee. Sorry? Hoe kry my SARS? Okay. How did I get SARS? I had that and I had this. Is it reg? I also have this. So I must find SARS. I started with that. Minus. Gives me this. Is it lucky? Ooh, the great guy.